And man, are we a giving area, especially last year in a COVID year. $3.5 million we gave to local nonprofits with the GiveLocalYork.org campaign on the Big Give Day. Well, this year the Big Give is coming up on May the 7th, and we're looking to smash all those previous records as we start to come out of COVID now. And there are so many great nonprofits around who are doing such wonderful work. We want to highlight those every single day leading up to May 7th. And one of those groups is a group called the York Day Nursery Incorporated. And if you check out GiveLocalYork.org and search for York Day Nursery, you'll see it right there. And with us this morning is Kate Harmon to tell us all about that. Kate, good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Well, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. And I know one of the things you're committed to doing is providing high-quality, safe, secure, and nurturing environment for kids from all the way 6 weeks all the way up to 4 years of age and maybe beyond. Tell us a little bit about what your group does.
Yeah, so we serve about 110 students from 6 weeks to 5 years old. Our goal is one thing. It is to provide that high-quality, safe education for these kids to get them ready for kindergarten. Studies show if they do not have access to high-quality early childhood education, that they're going to be over 16 to 18 months behind their peers when they get to kindergarten. And that's just not something that can really be made up. So we focus on getting them ready to go so these future leaders have the tools that they need to continue to grow.
Kate, talk about what you do in the classroom specifically with these kids to get them ready. I mean, obviously, social development is a big part of things, getting kids ready, setting a platform, so to speak, for getting into kindergarten and then on into the educational system is so important. What are some of the specific things you do each day?
So we actually have a structured curriculum in all of our classrooms, even our 1-year-olds and our infants. They move through center play, where they get to interact with their peers as well as be creative and come up with different things. We really like to learn through play. They have art components. They have music components, a lot of outdoor time and indoor time in our gym. So they're constantly moving through different curriculum throughout the day. It's not just a place where you're dropped off to be babysat while mom and dad go to work. They are learning in every moment that they're in our building.
You know, I can never remember someone having to teach me how to play, but that is kind of an interesting concept that, and in this case, some adults aren't real good at playing well with others, but teaching these kids to play well with others, I guess, is a big part of it too, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's so much part of their social development. We actually, last week was Week of the Young Child, and Wednesday was Work Together Wednesday. So I got to hang out with our pre-K counts kids while they had different STEM tasks to take on, but the biggest thing was they had to work together. So it was really funny just to watch them learn as they interacted with building towers full of cups, trying to make the biggest tower, but they had to work together. So if we saw them working alone, they stopped them and just kind of readjusted how everybody was working. So those little personalities are already coming out at that time to be able to refocus them and get them to work together to accomplish their goal. I think we all need a little bit more of that.
Isn't that the truth? And it's fascinating. This is where it starts, learning how to work together with people later on in a work environment and all those kinds of things, and how to cooperate, how to problem solve, how to, trying out new ideas. It would seem to me like you're a great laboratory there for doing that in a guided kind of setting. Plus the fact that a lot of these kids are just starting to develop language and motor skills and math and confidence and all those kind of things. That's got to be a daunting task some days, but it sounds like one that you kind of really embrace.
Yeah, our teachers are the best in the world. We've been around since the Great Depression. We're really focused on our family. We sit there and we have staff meetings where we say, what are our priorities? Our kids, each other, our building, and our reputation. And it really just comes down to those four things. And during COVID, I think it's just been even more so. We've been on the front line. Child care workers have been on that front line, and we were not recognized for being so. Our teachers faced the fear of COVID every day. But they wanted to be in the classroom and wanted to be educating these kids. They didn't want them to fall behind. So we've been really lucky to be able to support our staff and our families the best that we can throughout this past year.
We're talking with Kate Harmon of York Day Nursery Incorporated. And Kate, one of the things that you talk about in your writings here, you really work with 4 areas: emotionally, socially, physically, and intellectually, trying to develop that total child. Just give a quick thought about that.
Let me see. Well, that's a tough one. So the other day we were working on a little project for Give Local York,
Okay.
and I was trying to do video of these kids, and I wanted to do a little ABC 27 video challenge, but
Sure.
I didn't want it to be my face. I'm tired of seeing these adults talking about the importance of early childhood.
Right.
So I'm interviewing these kids, and the first day that we went to interview them, I had our assistant program director with us because she's the brains behind the curriculum. And so we're sitting there trying to talk to these kids, and I have 3- and 4-year-olds, and I'm trying to ask them the importance of giving back to their community.
Right.
And then we realized in the part of this conversation, we had to stop and explain what community was to them.
Right.
It's such an easy word for us, but these kids, they know what it is, but when you put them on the spot and you say, tell me about your community, who's in your community, they stare at you like they have no idea what's going on. So
Yeah.
It was an interesting moment for me, as I'm not actually an educator, I do marketing and development, to watch how we had to refocus what we were talking to them about to get them to really understand their community and ways that they could help. And it was so fun to come back the next day because some of them had gone home and talked about it at home, and they said, what if we picked up trash? Or what if I really like to cook chicken, was one of my friends. And so she was like, maybe I could cook chicken for my neighbors. So, just kind of everything
fascinating?
that you do there is a learning experience.
Well, you ought to be a talk show host. We get to rephrase things all the time, but it sounds like you took something that potentially was negative and turned it into a super positive thing. People need to look to help you out here on May 7th. What's that going to mean on the Big Give Day? About 15 seconds.
For us, it's all about providing this care. We have most of our families are below the poverty line, so 73% of them were essential workers. They had to get back to work.
Yeah.
And so many of them need scholarship support because of the lost wages or reduced hours. So what you give to us on Give Local York will keep our kids in care, and the continuity of that care is so important.
Pretty high-quality stuff. Kate Harmon, thanks so much this morning. GiveLocalYork.org. Go in there, put a search on for York Day Nursery Incorporated, INC, and you will see some people doing some fantastic work here in the area. Kate, thanks so much for taking the time this morning. Fascinating interview, and keep up all the wonderful things you're doing.
Thank you. Have a good morning.
Thank you. Kate Harmon with York Day Nursery Inc., part of the Give Local York interview series, all here